Hey, thanks a lot for taking a little bit of your time to check out this video. And you know, you might be wondering, gosh, you know, what is Rob going to tell me, and why does he need a guitar, you know, in his hands in order to share this message? And I promise that the information I'm going to share with you, it really is incredibly valuable. And I'll tell you, you know, why this guitar, or why I'm using this guitar to illustrate it. I really want it to stick. And so I'm going to start with a story, just a really quick story. And really it's how I wound up sitting in my living room with this guitar. And I'll make it a fast story, but it will all make sense at the end. You see, Kate and I were driving down it's Highway 41 here in Charlotte County, Florida. And we've been driving by this music store several times, you know, over the course of, you know, a few weeks. And we were driving by one day, and this is, again, I think about 6 months or so ago, and he had changed his billboard. And here's a shameless plug. It's for Ace Drums in Port Charlotte. But he had changed his billboard, and on the billboard it said, "Stop driving by, turn around and come on in." And, you know, there's a marketing message there, and that he told us on that billboard, you know, it said exactly what they wanted us to do. So, lo and behold, what Kate and I do, we continued down the street, and we made a U-turn, and we drove back, and we walked into Ace Drums. Pretty cool music store. And to keep a long story short, had no intention of buying a guitar or anything like that. Kate had an interest in drums. She played when she was younger. And I took a few guitar lessons when I was in junior high school. I even played in a garage band, but I was a singer. I wasn't a guitar player because I never really figured it out. But at any rate, when we left, I left with a brand new guitar and an amplifier. And I was pretty excited about it. Had no reason, no real clear reason for buying it other than I thought it was a really cool guitar. And it's a pretty cool guitar. And a little amplifier. And I thought, you know, when I get home, then I'll be able to, you know, start, you know, plug this thing in and start playing music. But when I got home, you know, I figured it out. I plugged in the guitar, got the amplifier working, all that sort of stuff. And really what happened is I just started making a lot of noise. And I did that for 3 or 4 days, you know, trying to hit chords and hit notes and things like that. Thought maybe I could just like start out with Stairway to Heaven or something like that. And I realized really fast that that just wasn't going to fly. But Kate realized it faster because she was the one who had to put up with the noise. And so Kate actually called the same music store, and she signed up to get me a lesson. And you know, her message to me was, gosh, Rob, you know, you're always telling people when it comes to this marketing advertising stuff, if you get some help, you know, if you talk to some folks who maybe have tried some things or can teach you, you know, you're always telling people, you know, maybe they can move faster and have more results quicker. So anyway, she made me an appointment for this guitar lesson, and so I showed up. I actually went. It was a 1-hour lesson, and walked into this little room inside of the music store, and I met the guy, the teacher, and, you know, nice guy, kind of looked like a rocker of sorts. But anyway, he started out with a simple question. He said, "So, Rob, let me ask you, if you're successful, if I help you, you know, with the guitar, if you're successful, what is the hope happens? I mean, what kind of outcome are you looking for?" And I thought that was a really good question, you know, because I, at face value, just want to learn how to play guitar. And he said, but for you to really feel like you've accomplished something, what do you need to, what do I need to teach you? And I said, my goal really is to learn how to play, you know, 6, 7 just old classic rock songs. You know, bring back some old memories. You know, if I could play those songs, even if I didn't play them very good, but yeah, I could sit in my living room, I could sit in the lanai, and I could just, you know, I'd have something to do, kind of a hobby, but I'd actually be able to play some real songs. And I told him that if I, you know, got really brave, who knows, maybe I would share it with some friends or you know, dazzle my neighbors with my new prowess on the electric guitar. And once he'd asked me those 2 questions, and there's a message there. Really what he was doing was an investigation. In the world of marketing, we would call that an investigation. But instead of just saying, here's what I'm going to teach you, it was important for him to know before he got started what it was that I was trying to accomplish. You might think about how you can apply that with your prospects or potential customers and clients. But anyway, here's what he told me, and this is where it kind of all came together for me. And I think from a pure marketing and advertising point of view, I think I can bring some things together for you, get you clear on something that will really help you moving forward. He said, Rob, there's really three chords. If you can learn three chords, and you don't have to master them, but if you can learn three chords, you can put those three chords together and you practice, what's going to happen is you're going to find that about 50 to 60% of the classic rock songs out there, the kind of music you're talking about, they're not very complicated. In fact, they're really pretty simple. But you got to learn the three chords. He said, so in this first lesson, what I want to teach you is I'm going to show you the three chords. I want you to go practice the three chords. And once you know those three chords, in fact, I'll even give you a song, a simple song, that you can actually use to put the three chords together. And the reason he was doing this, at least he said, was because one of the biggest challenges that he saw with people who were, kind of thinking that they were going to learn how to play guitar and all that sort of stuff, he said one of the biggest mistakes he saw people make was trying to learn way too much, way too fast, trying to really figure out how do you, do it all. How can I be a lead guitar player? How can I be a rhythm guitar player? And all that sort of stuff. And he said what happens is because they're really trying to do all of these other things without having the foundation of these three chords, and then he said, teach me more. He said what happens is they get frustrated, they get confused, and they quit. He said so just trust me and learn these three chords. And the three chords are C, D, and G. And hey, check this out. There's G, there's D, there's C. See, I know where they are now. I can find them on the frets and all that sort of stuff, and I can play all three of the chords. What I haven't really mastered yet is putting them all together, and so I'm not going to bore you and try to play a song for you yet, but maybe in an upcoming video I will. But now let's move to the real reason for this video, and why I wanted to share my guitar story with you. In the world of marketing, the world of advertising, businesses tend to, by virtue of it's really not even their fault, but by virtue of all of the different choices out there, all of the different opportunities people put in front of them to market, to advertise, to sell, everything from social media to newspaper to radio to email marketing to direct mail, billboards, you name it. There are so many choices out there, and what a lot of business people do, in fact, I would venture to say about 97% of businesses, and these are smart business people, what they do is they kind of go out there into the marketplace, they've got their business and they want to get the word out, so they start trying all of these different things, and they do it really without any foundation or any real basic, again, I'll use the word foundation, it's the best one. So what happens is they don't get results. They spend a lot of money, a lot of time, a lot of energy, a lot of frustration. In fact, they, if one thing doesn't work, they just try another thing. If that doesn't work, they try another thing, and pretty soon, as the media people and other folks, come and keep presenting them with opportunities, after they've spent a ton of time, a ton of money, a lot of energy, and they're not getting the results that they want to get, it's kind of like the example the guy gave me with the guitar. They simply throw up their hands and they say, this must not be for me. It's pretty clear that I'm not going to learn how to play this guitar because I've tried all these things and they just don't work. And so they either stop out of frustration or they continue on wasting time, money, and energy on advertising marketing that doesn't work, or maybe it works a little bit because they really don't know what else to do. So what I'm going to share with you now, and I'll be quick with this, but it's really important. So don't take the fact that I'm going to share them with you fast as it's to mean that they're not really, really important things that you need to know. And it's kind of like the guitar. It's kind of like those three chords. In the world of marketing and advertising, to get results, you need to learn three basic things. 3, not 10, not 20, not 50. You've got to start with 3 simple things. And then these things, I don't really want to call them concepts or ideas, they're really tools. Once you're armed with these 3 things, what's going to happen is you will be clear. You'll be clear on what you need to do, you'll be able to make really good choices when it comes to your marketing advertising. You'll actually be able to invest money and get a return on your investment with your marketing advertising as opposed to just kind of throwing it out there. So here's what they are. We're going to start with the first one. The first one is what I refer to as message. And by message, what I mean is in marketing, in advertising, in your business, you have to have a clear message, one clear message. And the way to create that message, the way to kind of think about this message is ask yourself, what problem do you solve for your potential customers, clients? What's going on inside of their head, and what is it that you solve for them? What challenge do you fix? Is there for lack of a better word, is there a dream that you help them to reach? Everybody has a different motivation for having an interest in or buying your product or service, and people are different, but they do share some traits. We'll talk about that here in just a second. But you have to ask yourself, truly, where can I provide, or where do I provide what I would refer to as unmatched value to the markets that you serve? What do you do? What do you offer? What do you sell that your competitors either can't or won't? So I want you to think about that. Clear message. What problem do you solve? What challenge can you fix? And truly, what dream or what do you provide that will help somebody reach a specific goal? And you need to write that down. So that's number one. You've got to have a clear message. The reason you want to have this clear message is because you'll start using that in your advertising marketing. There's a lot of folks out there who run around, they'll run ads or even, send emails and those types of things, and they'll, put their big logo up there, and maybe here's what their hours are, and here's the products that they sell or whatever. That's not a message. That's not a message. We call that name, rank, and serial advertising, or serial number advertising. That's what most of your competitors do. Just kind of check around and look at the media. You'll find that's how most people do it. So number one is the message. Got to get clear on message. Number two is you have to be clear. Again, I'll be using the word clear a lot. Clear on who is most likely to have an interest in, or who is predisposed to already have an interest in at least looking at your products or services, or potentially buying them. And you might want to kind of think to yourself that everybody is your market, and the truth is everybody isn't your market. And businesses that think, gosh, I can be all things to everyone, they tend to kind of scattershot with their marketing and advertising. They try all kinds of different things, and they hope that, gosh, if they're just out there in enough places and they spend enough money, that ultimately somebody will figure out that, gosh, maybe that's the place that I need to go, or the people I need to contact. And when it comes to figuring out who these people are, what you want to do is you want to define as tight as you possibly can who is your specific target market. Who do you want to get this message to? If you got the message to this particular market, are those folks or those people or those potential customers, clients, are those the ones who are most likely to respond? So when it comes to market, right, you've got to be very clear on who your market is. And a simple kind of exercise, and you can try this, or it's not really try. If you do this, this will really help. One of the best ways to figure out, who your ideal market is to take a look at kind of your list of who's buying from you now, who's inquiring about your products and services now. If you take a look at your current customer and client list, what you're going to find is that they do share, certain traits, certain attributes, things like income level, things like where they live, could be male, could be female, could be young, could be old, could drive a certain type of car, could maybe live in a certain type of house. Doesn't really matter, but you want to look at see what those attributes are, and by doing that, you'll start to identify, gosh, based on what I'm doing now, look, these are the types of folks that are buying my stuff. And this really is my market, or it's the one that I'm having success with so far. And then what you want to do, once you've kind of figured out, gotten an overview as to who these people are, and just for full disclosure, clearly there's some deep things that you can do. There are processes and systems, and there are ways to do this at a very, very high level. We're not talking about those today. We'll share those, in another video or in one of our courses. But for today, identifying who your market is. So number one is get a clear message. Number two, decide exactly and get clear on who is your market. Who do you want to get this message to? And that really brings us to number 3. And this is the final piece of the foundation. And again, it's kind of like that C, D, G thing. Got to have all 3 chords to play the songs. I couldn't get lazy and just learn 1 chord. And 2 chords wasn't going to cut it. The guy said I needed to learn 3. Well, this is the 3rd piece. The 3rd piece is you have to be clear on which media, right? You really have to understand. This will take a little bit of research. It'll take a little bit of questioning of people who are trying to sell you their marketing and advertising tools and things like that. You've got to be clear on which media, and by media, you know, there's the traditional stuff. There's things like, you know, newspaper, radio, magazines, email, that sort of stuff, billboards, whatever it might be. But really what I'm saying is that there are all kinds of media. You know, media might be, you know, meetings that you go to. Media might be different types of social media outlets out there. Media can be, of course, again, back to the traditional newspaper, radio, television, those types of things. Media might be your salespeople. If you have a sales team, they are a media. If you belong to an association, if you belong to a chamber of commerce, a home builder association, or some other type of business organization, that in itself is a media as well. So what you want to do is you know, a little bit of homework and figure out, you know, since this is my message, I know that this is my market, which media are most likely to reach those folks? And not to put media people on the spot, but ask them. You know, if somebody's trying to sell you on a certain type of media, tell them, this is my message. This is exactly who I'm trying to reach. Tell me why I should choose your media to do that. Tell me how you reach this media. And if you get an answer like, you know, can't really promise that this will reach your market, but I know there's some folks, so what I recommend you do is just, you know, continue to get your name out there consistently, and then you can kind of hope that ultimately somebody who's listening or watching or reading or whatever, you know, might actually like see your message, you know, 10, 12 times. They might choose you. If you hear people telling you things like that, which is probably what you've been hearing, don't fall for it. Don't fall for it. There are different media that you really can use to target to get specifically to your market. So, message number 1, market number 2, media number 3. But here's the key to all of this, and here's why it's so important that you get clear on all 3. See, because just like this guitar, if I only learn how to play 1 chord or only 2 chords, I'm not going to reach my goal. I'm not going to reach my goal. It takes 3. In the world of you know, what we refer to as, you know, direct response or direct marketing, you gotta make sure that you're using all 3 of those. Think in terms of a triangle. You know, I had a guy, and I consider him to be sort of a rock star, certainly not in the world of music, but a rock star in the world of marketing. His name is Dan Kennedy, and he drew a really simple picture. And really it was just a triangle. And at the top of the triangle it said message. On one side it said market, and on the other side it said media. It made perfect sense to me, because I knew that every time that I was going to spend money, or I was going to recommend that somebody spend money, time, or energy on marketing and advertising, I had 3 criteria to go by. You know, 1 is my message really clear? You know, 2 is, does this particular media or this particular process, whatever, will it does it target the market that I want? And 3, is it a media that will truly reach the folks that I want to reach? So moving forward, when you're you know, getting ready to launch another advertising campaign, or you're going to even put a ad in a phone book or something like that, and yes, people still do use phone books from time to time, what you want to ask yourself is your message clear? You know, is it the right message? Are you reaching, you know, the right market? Have you targeted your market? And will this media, this thing that you're going to use in order to get your message out to your market, does it really get to them? And if you can answer yes to all 3, then you've really taken the first step in creating a foundation that will, again, it's not going to make you a master marketer or anything like that, and it's not going to cause people to break down your doors the next day, but you will be able to make clear choices, informed choices. You'll be able to make choices without confusion or frustration when it comes to your advertising marketing, because you can just put, the thing that you're about to do, you can ask yourself, again, right message, right market, is it the right media? And by asking those questions, you can very quickly sort out the things that truly aren't going to get you the results that you need, that don't reach the market that you want to reach. And if I had to kind of put a punctuation mark on any one of those three, start with that message. Get really clear on that message. Again, remember, where do you add unmatched value in the market? What do you do that your competitors can't or won't? What do you solve? What solution do you provide? And finally, what dream or goal do you help people reach with your business? You need to be asking yourself those things. Thanks a lot for taking the time to watch this video. If you were hoping that I was going to stand up and play an amazing song, sorry that didn't happen. But that conversation about that I had with that guitar teacher about learn these three things and you'll be able to do just about anything you want to do. It really resonated with me, and then here's kind of the wild thing. I'm already excited because I understand, I can play the chords. Can't put them together real good yet, but I will be able to put them together. And what that created for me was momentum, because now I can take the next step. And if you master or get clear on message, market, and media, then you will create momentum in your business. You'll create some momentum with your advertising marketing, and you'll be ready to do some more things. You'll kind of rid yourself of those thoughts that, hey, this stuff can't or doesn't work, and you'll be able to move forward. So have a small success. Get those three things figured out. Then you'll be able to take the next step. Again, just at this point in time, I want to thank you for taking the time to watch this video, and maybe I'll play a song for you sometime in the future.